Namaste. So, ever since Costa Rica, I've been a little obsessed with the trees and this idea of reconnecting to nature. And even last week, I started off with a quote that nature is the purest portal to inner peace. And this past week, St. Francis has come to mind a couple times. And I think it's pretty amazing that I'm not Catholic, and St. Francis is a Catholic saint. He was a mystic and a minister, and I believe he passed away in 1226. So it kind of blows my mind that someone like this is still talked about today in the 21st century. St. Francis adored nature because he considered nature to be the mirror of God. And his whole life mission was to imitate Christ as much as possible. So he created a lot of Franciscan orders, and he traveled around and ministered. He believed in living a life of poverty. He even ministered to the animals. He talked and sang to birds. And oftentimes, when you see him depicted, he's depicted either holding a bird or a bird perched on either his head or his shoulder or his hand. Um, I remember when Gabriel was little, we were renting this home, and the landscaping around the house was full of fruit trees. And behind my bedroom, the area that was landscaped, St. Francis was there. And I remember asking, I wasn't for sure who it was. That's actually how I discovered who St. Francis even was. And she had told me the story behind him and how her mother always felt safer in the evening living alone with St. Francis outside her bedroom window. And I remember Gabriel looked at every statue. It didn't matter who it was, it didn't matter if it was Jesus or St. Francis, everything was Buddha. So I have fond memories of that. And around that same time frame, I was going to the farmer's market all the time because that house that I rented was just a few blocks down from the factory. And so I would go there almost every Saturday morning. This was before I started teaching two classes back to back on Saturday mornings. And I remember meeting Aisha, and Aisha does the Angel Radiance candles. You may have met her before, and she also sells crystals. And I always looked at her and called her the witchy woman because, she's this older kind of hippie chick, long hair. And I remember her telling me when I was talking with her about her candles at the farmer's market, I had lost something. And she said, when you lose something, you have to say, St. Francis, please come around. There's something lost that needs to be found. And that has always stuck with me. And so anytime I lose my keys or my purse or something like that, I use that saying, St. Francis, please come around. There's something lost that needs to be found. So he's kind of our inspiration for today's practice. I want to share with you his famous prayer that I know you've heard before. Make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not as much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in the giving that we receive. It is in the pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is the dying that we are born to eternal life. So with this in mind, we're going to meet on the mat. This is a gentle flow. And grab your props and have in case we need them. And we'll start off sitting with some pranayama. So find a comfortable seat. Rest with your spine upright and your eyes gently closed. And take a few deep breaths. You can breathe diaphragmatically. Receiving the in-breath. Freely offering the out-breath. Now that you've been centering a bit, extend your right arm out, turn the fingers down, take your left hand to pull back on the forefinger so you can stretch your wrist and the forearm. Usually with this exercise, we usually leave the thumb free and then switch sides. You may feel a little bit more sensitive on the mouse hand. And release. We're going to crisscross the arms. Doesn't matter which one's on top. Just remember which one is. Lace the fingers together. Roll the wrist under towards the chest and then out before you. It's okay if you don't get the arms perfectly straight. This is a good preventative against carpal tunnel. When you release, crisscross the other way. Lace and re-extend the arms as much as you can. There are days when I can straighten and there are days when I cannot. And these days, it really depends on my thumbs. I'm either getting arthritic in my thumbs or I just have a lot of inflammation in the joints. And when you bring the arms back towards the heart, you can release the hands down. We're going to take that left arm across the chest. The right hand will come across to the upper arm, and you're just squeezing it towards you. Maintaining an open channel of breath. And then sweep that arm behind the back and catch the other arm. Let the shoulders glide down away from your ears. And on your exhale, gently lower the right ear down towards the right shoulder. Perhaps testing the waters, turning your gaze and chin down. Bring the head back up. Release that back arm. And take the right arm across. Your left hand will cup a hold of the upper arm. Gently hugging it towards you. Sweep it behind you. Grip a hold of the other arm. Shoulders relax. Heart props up. And left ear lowers towards the shoulder. Maybe turning the gaze and chin down. Inhale, lift the head up. Bring your hands to Namaste at the heart. Lace your fingers. Extend both wrists forward and out. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Elongate your side body equally. Create space between each vertebra. On your exhalation, curve to one side. Inhale to center, exhale to the other. Inhale to the top. Exhale, this time you're going to twist to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the left. Come back to center. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Place your palms over the crown. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold the breath briefly. Exhale, release it out. Parvantasana, seated mountain. Inhale. Hold and retain. Exhale, let it go. One more. Breathing in. Hold. Breathing out. And slowly lower your hands to prayer position at your heart. We'll come away from the bolster. And we're going to move into tabletop position. And so from tabletop position, stack your knees below your hips, your hands below the shoulders. And we're just going to strengthen the wrist a little bit. So keep the belly drawn in, your feet flattening down. And on your inhale, rock the shoulders a few inches forward. And then as you exhale, a few inches back. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale, recenter. And shift to your left. And now rock it to the right. Lean left. Rock it to the right. One more. Draw back to center, sink the belly, lift the crown of the head, cow tilt. Exhale, cat stretch. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Continue a few more rounds. Rock back after that cat stretch to extended child's pose. We usually emphasize the aspect of peace here. Affirming I release and relax from all outer involvements into my own inner haven of peace. And remembering that prayer of St. Francis, make me an instrument of your peace. On your next inhale, stretch the arms forward and out. Rock up hands and knees. Kick your heels in, swan. And exhale, extended child's. Arms stay active this time. Doing that a couple more rounds. Then inhale to table. From table, extend your right leg back. Press back through your heel, scoop in through the belly, and align your left arm alongside your left ear for seabird. The birds represent the messengers between the heavens and the earth. And St. Francis constantly ministered with the birds. Exhale, release. Let's take the left leg back. Flex through that ankle. Draw in through the navel. Take the right arm alongside your right ear. Go in opposing directions. And exhale, release. Now we're going to extend the right leg back again. This time we're going to kick the foot up along with the crown of the head, creating a sway through the back. And then as you exhale, you contract and curl in. New flow. Inhale, open up. Exhale, draw it in. 3 more. Except on this final one, we're going to step the right foot through. Feel free to utilize your blocks in the half lunge. From half lunge, we're going to take it back to half split. You can be high or low, dependent upon your flexibility today. Come back to flatten the front foot. Walk the blocks back alongside it. Shift your hips forward and down. Curl your back toes. Fly up the back knee. Pressurize the right foot. Slowly straighten the right leg. Square the hips. Left hip's going to roll towards the front. And then exhale, lunge the knee. Faces up, look straight ahead. Inhale, straighten the front leg. You can gaze down. And exhale, relunge the knee. We're going to do that one more set. When you're ready, sink the back knee to the floor. Untuck the back toes. We'll bring it into tabletop again. From tabletop, we'll take the left leg back and up so the foot's higher than the hip. Push down through the palms, open up your heart center. And as you exhale, contract and curl in. Let's continue. This time the foot steps through. Find your blocks. Sink down through the pelvic floor. Inhale, take half split. Toes lift and splay. When you're ready, roll back to flatten the front foot. The blocks walk ahead. Curl the back toes. Kick up that back knee. Stay in this low lunge. And then we'll go back and forth between the standing splits. So straighten the front leg. You can radiate over or you can bow down. Yogi's choice. And then when you go back into the lunge, then make sure you're looking straight ahead. From this point, step the blocks aside, plant the palms, step back to plank, exhale, downward facing dog. Once you ground your hands and feet, sail up through your seat. And then we're going to go back and forth between plank and down dog. So inhale, come forward, plank. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Couple more. Last one. When you're ready, bring the right shin just behind the hands. Keep the back toes tucked initially. And then allow the back toes to untuck to plop onto your right hip. So it's not pigeon, it's more like deer pose. So we'll inhale, lift up energetically, and then exhale, walk forward over the right leg, and then you can, of course, lower towards the earth. You're welcome to stack onto blocks if you can't quite reach the floor. So bring the floor to you. The initial tension starts to dissolve away. Take that as your cue to maybe spill down more. Inhale, coming up. Now we need to lean away from the right hip. So lift it up, bring the left toes to tuck, plant the palms, step it back to downward facing dog. From Adho Mukha Svanasana, we'll bring the left shin forward. Back toes are tucked initially, just to lower to the left hip and to sink onto that foot. Lift up to the crown of the head, walk the hands forward and out. Bow over, finding your initial edge, wherever that may be. Couple more breaths. Inhale it, slowly rise away from deer pose. Square the hands, step the right foot back, sail into downward facing dog, and when you're ready, meditationally walk forward 1 foot at a time until you come to the top of the mat. Drape down and over the thighs, bend the knees if you feel the need. Inhale, slide your hands up your shins. Prop yourself up with straight arms. Look out with your eyes. And notice that little dip in your low back. So slide your hands up to your thigh bones, right near the hip crease. The shoulders roll from the ears. And then suction the belly in so it's nice and firm. Reach the arms down in front of you and then build up to stand. Once you build up to stand, circle the arms behind your back. Left arm first, right arm beneath. Lift up through the breastbone, chin parallel to the floor. Set your drishti for mental focus. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, swan dive down, Uttanasana. Holding and breathing. Legs can be straight, or you can have bent knees. Yin or yang approach is fine. Inhale all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. This time, exhaling the arms down, right arm first, left arm beneath. Create and refine some good posture. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Keep the right arm up, but take the left arm behind your back. Slide that hand up towards the shoulder blades and bend the right arm. See if you can catch that hand. Gomukhasana arms. It's okay if your hands don't touch. You can always use a strap as an apparatus to connect the hands. or they can just rest on your back. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold down. Moving back and forth between the shoulders and the hamstrings. Inhaling. Exhale, take the right arm behind the back. Take the hand up towards the shoulder blades. And the left arm will flex from the elbow, maybe catching the other hand. Keep the breath under your command. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, Uttanasana. Work the shoulders in one last position when we come up. So pressurize the feet, circle the arms overhead. Exhale, take the hands behind your back, fingertips join together towards the base of the spine, and then you wiggle or slide them upstream. Try to bring your thumbs or a portion of your wrists together, even if it's not perfect. Perhaps closing the eyes, seeing where you sense it the most. Inhale, release, circle the arms up. Exhale, hinge forward from your hips. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, descend your knees, and you're going to lower down to the belly, walking the forearms through to perform Sphinx. Leg bones lengthen back, elbows press down. Recharging the spine, activating prana in the heart. Exhale, lower towards your ribs, pick up the feet, see if your hands can take a hold of them, and you're squeezing the heels down towards the out frame of your body. Adding in this quad stretch. And if it strains the neck, you can just place your forehead to the ground. Otherwise, you can keep the head up and add in a micro back bend. Strengthen the diaphragm muscle by breathing slowly and deeply. It's a form of frog pose. And release. Your left arm is going to slide to your left side for broken wing. You're coming down to the left ear. You're rolling to your left side, and we're going to be more gentle with this today. So we're going to bend the knees and stack them like clam pose. And then if you want to Lift and elevate the right knee to open the clam. That may take it a little bit deeper into your left arm and shoulder. Lower the right knee, straighten out the legs, come back to the belly. Extend your right arm out. Bring your left hand in, roll to the right side in temple, and then slide your knees up. Lift your left knee if that's permissible to your low back. Earlier we were working on shoulders and hamstrings. Now it's shoulders and hips. Let's release that knee. Straighten the legs. Come back into that prone position. And we're going to place the palms up underneath the shoulders, pressing up to tabletop, and then slinking back into Balasana Child's. Resting on the third eye. Now slide your hands in and slowly come up. You could really use your two blocks to make a restorative fish position, or you could use a bolster. We're going to take the bolster underneath the spine. And then if you want to use the blocks under your knees for butterfly, you can. And if you're choosing to use the blocks like restorative fish, the legs would be straight. So I'm going to give you an option to choose from here. I'm going to give you an opportunity to rest and to restore the mind and body. We are moving forward into the eclipse season. And this one's going to be pretty powerful. They all are. But this one's really potent. The first one's going to be Wednesday, the 26th. And I think the next one's going to be around June 10th. And while you're dropping into this quiet space, I want to remind you of that prayer. Make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. Grant that I may not seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in the giving we receive, it is in the pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in the dying that we are born to eternal life. Breathing calmly, calmly breathing. Go ahead and inhale, float the knees up. Roll to one side of your body. Set the blocks ahead. We're going to turn to the right side and then twist towards the bolster and lay down upon it. You rest on either facial cheek. Broaden the upper back. Slide your hands in. Press your way up. And then we'll take the twist to the other side. When you're ready, wind around. Lower down to the opposite cheek this time. And you can always put a blanket or pillow in between the knees or thighs if that's more comfortable for your back. Couple more breaths. When you're ready, slide the hands in and come up. We're going to end sitting in meditation. First, doing some pranayama. Pick one of your favorites. But if you want to use diaphragmatic, that is a calming breath. I highly suggest as we move through this eclipse season, and especially on Wednesday, the 26th, you take time to sit and meditate. I'm going to leave you with one more quote from St. Francis of Assisi. He said, "Start by doing what's necessary, then do what is possible, and suddenly you may be doing the impossible." Start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. Joining your hands to prayer position at your heart. May we walk away from this practice being free and at peace by anything out of our control, anything imposed upon us by another, or by any internal trouble of our own. Om peace, peace, peace. And may we be an instrument of thy peace. May we allow for the peace that passeth all understanding. Namaste.